Hello everybody, this is 3.1 for Algebra 1 here. This is the beginning lesson for Chapter 3. There's 10 chapters in Algebra 1, about 70 lessons. For all the quizzes, tests, worksheets, class worksheets, email me here and we will set you up to get either PowerPoints or videos out to you. Three point one, plot points in a coordinate plane for Algebra 1, graphing linear equations and functions. This is the first lesson in Chapter 3. Here's your Common Core Standard. 34 points for the class worksheet, 13 points of note-taking here. Then this is the bell work for students to do as they come and sit down in your classroom, or it's a good warm-up for a homeschooler or whoever is taking this course. Write the equation so that y is a function of x. And then graph this function here, and then domain with a domain here within this domain. Graph the function there. And if you need more room, attach a sheet to your classwork sheet, students. Plot points in a coordinate plane before you have graph numbers on a number line. You will identify and plot points in a coordinate plane so you can interpret photos of the Earth taken from space, as in example 36. I think that's probably in part 2 of this lesson. It's not in part 1. You have used a coordinate plane, this classwork, page 2 in your classwork, to graph ordered pairs whose coordinates were non-negative. If you extend the x-axis and y-axis to include negative values, you divide the coordinate plane into 4 regions called quadrants, labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4 as shown. There's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Here's your 4 quadrants. Goes in a counterclockwise manner. Y-axis and x-axis. Classwork page 3. Points in quadrant 1 have 2 positive values. These are all positive here. Positive points, and points in the other 3 quadrants have at least 1 negative value for it, 1 negative coordinate. Quadrant 2, this is negative here, positive, negative, positive, positive. Then negative, negative, positive, negative. For example, point P is in quadrant 1, quadrant 4 here, quadrant 4. It has an x-coordinate of 3 and a, here's your x-coordinate of 3, and a y-coordinate of negative 2, yes? A point on an axis, such as point Q, is not considered to be in any of the 4 quadrants. So point such as point Q, which is here, it's on an axis, so it's not on a quadrant here. It's on the x-axis. Negative 4 is 0. So if you have a point that's on one of the axes, it's not considered to be in a quadrant. The origin is not in a quadrant. So here's your point Q here. It's not on in a quadrant. Then here's a good time to define quadrant. Students, this goes in your notebook. I do notebook checks usually on Friday with all my students. This is another notebook entry here, page 6. You label that in your notebook for 3.1, page 6, notes. Name points in the coordinate plane. So now we're going to give the coordinates of the point here. Name these points. Point A. Point A is 3 units to the left of the origin and 4 units up right here, 4 units up, and is -3. So the x coordinate is -3. Here's -3, 1, 2, 3, and the y coordinate is 4. So here's the ordered pair for this point here is -3, 4. And then for B, point B, which is down here, point B is 2 units to the right, so it would be 2. And 3 units down, so it'll be 2, -3. Y coordinates -3, the ordered pair, the coordinates are 2, -3 for point B. This goes in your notebook. You should sketch this real quick and then plot these points. Sketch them in. And now we're going to go into the homework for 3.1, part 1. I think there's 3 parts to this lesson actually, and you would get that with the full course suite. You get all parts of each lesson. So this is a large lesson because we get into more exotic graphing. Vocabulary and writing. Be page 1 in your homework. And then plot the points there, or rather give the coordinates. So we'd have ordered pairs here for each one. And then a point is located 3 units to the left, blah, blah, blah. What are the coordinates of the point? Plotting points. So you plot points in a grid here. Plot the point in a coordinate plane. Plot the point in a coordinate plane. And then describe and correct. And then you have a multiple choice here. And then graphing functions. Now that you actually get to graph a function, you have tables here where you can fill in your values for these functions here, for this function here. They specify a domain here for you to graph. And you can find all the answers here to homework and to the classwork by ordering a correction PowerPoint, which I have as well. At this email address here, you can get correction PowerPoints as well. Okay, thank you very much.